Laura Ingraham said there's something deeply wrong with Kamala Harris. I absolutely agree with that sentiment. There's something definitely wrong with the cackling chameleon Kamala Harris. Like, what? How do you explain her when and she's in tough situations and in serious conversations, cackling and laughing and stuff like that? How do you and how do you explain her doing a total 180 on the policies that put us in this situation? You know, the economy is doing terrible. They the one that destroyed the economy, but yet she says she's the one to fix the economy. She's the reason why the border is wide open and a bunch of legal immigrants are coming into the country, but yet she says she's the savior. She's gonna fix the borders. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. And she something is deeply wrong. But we're gonna play the clip and see what Ingram has to say about it. I haven't watched the clip yet. So we're gonna check it out. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. Also, follow me on X, where I post news throughout the day as well. All right, so let's just jump right into this clip here. Here's Laura Ingraham. Here we go.
First, dancing to decline. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, do regular working class Americans, do they seem joyful to you?
How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
Who do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. Imagine
Inflation is hitting everyone. Unless you are part of the elites, you're part of the millionaire billionaire class. Unless you're part of that, you're struggling right now.
a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children. They're killing us without killing us.
Facts.
It's either feed my child or how about feed my children and I don't.
Facts. They killing us without killing us. I mean, there's no extra money to go on vacation. There's no extra money for entertainment or anything like that. You only got food to eat, barely paying your bills. Like, it's tough on everyone.
But Kamala Harris doesn't fret about addressing struggles like that woman struggles. Instead, she thinks it's enough to just traffic in cliches and sound or try to sound like a female version of Barack Obama.
I believe we face a choice between two different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, the other focused on the past.
Now, what does that mean practically? Well, no one knows. But working people...
It means absolutely nothing. You notice how she doesn't talk about how she's going to fix these problems. Like, Trump goes in and he explains exactly how he's going to fix these problems. Harris talks in platitudes. She said make these vague comments. She still doesn't have her policies on her website. What is she hiding?
People do know one thing. They have less money in their pockets than they did 4 years ago.
Facts.
I feel like everything that you purchase at the store now has gone up substantially. So learning how to budget better has been a challenge. There's going to be some sacrifices that we have to make as a family.
Nowadays, it's just hopelessness because we don't know when this doom loop is going to end.
I buy for the grandsons, so it's just the prices have gone up so much.
Yes, it is brutal out there, despite what Biden managed to mumble to Peter Doocy today.
The issues we've worked on together have made great progress economically. No one falls what we did on address. It's a good policy.
If it's a good policy, Mr. President, where's the relief coming from? It's supposed to be a relief, right? We were supposed to get a relief from this inflation. Prices are supposed to go down once you pass this infrastructure bill, which it didn't. It made inflation, the Inflation Reduction Act didn't reduce inflation at all. So what is he talking about?
It's just nonsense. It's total fiction. But it's more than what Harris is saying about anything.
That's
Her
true.
high-paid operatives are still playing a giant game of keep away. Remember that playing that when you were a kid? Keep away from the press and keep away from the voters. And look, a meme a day keeps the journalists away, so they hope, while Harris spends her time hanging with hip-hop podcasters, or when the campaign does it, zoom in with celebs. It's all about grooving with the giggler. It's a national non-stop dance party, y'all.
Just because the length of your hair ain't long, and they often criticize you for.
It's disgusting.
But I doubt that the employees and stockholders of Home Depot have a lot to dance to or celebrate. In the news that's out today, the home improvement giant, a bellwether of consumer spending in the housing market.
Oh, sorry about that, y'all. Give me 1 second. I don't know what's what's going on with my internet. Hopefully it'll kick back in. That's unfortunate. Hold on a second. What happened here? We did have a storm out here. I don't know if that got anything to do with it, but let me refresh this. Again, I apologize. There we go. We're back up. That was weird. Again, I apologize, y'all.
Dancing to decline.
Let's
That's the
fast
focus of
forward
tonight's
here.
angle. Y'all?
Okay, here we go.
But I doubt that the employees and stockholders of Home Depot have a lot to dance to or celebrate. In the news that's out today, the home improvement giant, a bellwether of consumer spending in the housing market, lowered its sales expectations for the year. And it said that customers were spending less on home improvement projects, pressured by higher interest rates and concerns that the economy is getting worse.
Of course it is.
And that's just one of many such stories.
What did I say, y'all? I said it's gonna get a lot worse before it get better. And then, if the Democrats get in another 4 years of the White House, this will be the new norm. Things will never get better. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm just being truthful. We will never get back on track if the Democrats control the White House another 4 years.
The chickens are coming home to roost and finding out that housing costs have skyrocketed since Trump was in office. And any raises that workers have gotten have just been chewed up by these obscenely high cost of living issues. This, though, is the Democrats' definition of success.
Joe's legacy of accomplishment, just over a lifetime, but just over the last 3.5 years, is unmatched in modern history. In one term, he has already surpassed the legacy of most presidents who served 2 terms in office.
Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States.
The most important thing we have to do.
She called Biden a Mount Rushmore president. How do you have some of the worst approval ratings of a president ever in history and be considered a Mount Rushmore president? How do you have record inflation and record grocery store costs and be considered a Mount Rushmore president? I've never seen this much gaslighting before in my entire life. Wow.
Is to win the election, to sustain his legacy.
Their legacy. Look, the convention balloons at the DNC, I don't think they've even been blown up yet, but their phony narrative is already deflating.
Yeah.
Now, why is that? Because as fun of a stepmom as I'm sure Kamala may be, as folksy as Waltz pretends to be, none of that, and I mean none of it, puts food on the table or pays your kids' tuition bills. Late today, Bloomberg is reporting that the chances of a Biden-Harris recession are on the rise. Yeah, it's up to 41%. So look, Americans are now being forced to tighten their belts. And it ain't because they're hungry for what Kamala's cooking in the kitchen, because she is a great cook, let's face it. It's because they don't have money. Consumer sentiment now is weak. And on Monday, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reported that Americans' expectations of how much they'll spend in the next year has declined. Biden and Harris and their rotten economy have just dragged down most Americans' finances, but especially those at the lower end. Yet Harris's response is just an insult, with her campaign insisting that we all somehow just be joyful about it. But Trump knows that you're hurting, and he spent 2 hours with Elon Musk last night to tell voters exactly what he was planning to do to help.
And they hated it. They hated it. They hate that Trump can get on a platform and a billion people can watch him. Like a billion people listened in to Donald Trump and Elon Musk talk, and it was just a conversation, something that the mainstream media wouldn't allow him, wouldn't afford him, something that Kamala Harris would never ever do. Elon Musk extended it out the same platform out to Kamala Harris, and no one thinks she's gonna attend. Y'all know why? Because she's not that bright, and we will see that in a long form conversation or a long form interview. People will see how dumb Kamala Harris really is. That's why they're hiding her like they hid Biden during 2020.
We have to bring energy prices down. Energy started at not only gasoline, it's the cost of heating your house and cooling your house. That has to come down. It's gone up 100%, 150 and 200%, and that has to come down. We're going to drill, baby, drill.
Now, instead of demanding that Kamala sit down for a similar free-ranging interview, conversation, whatever you want to call it, liberal media types pile on the two men who are actually willing to answer questions.
Right.
40 minutes of glitches to start.
If you sort of babble for 2 hours into the void, does it actually make a sound? I was going to listen to the thing. I just gave up.
For most of us as journalists watching it, it was a train wreck.
These people, they are so disingenuous that it makes absolutely no sense. They sat down for almost 3 hours and had a conversation about Trump policies, what he plans to do, how he plans to fix the economy, how he plans to shut down the border, how he plans to make world peace. Like, he just talked about it all. And this is what you get from the mainstream media. They just being so disingenuous and not being honest about what the conversation, the great conversation that was had. That's why 1 billion people tuned in.
Oh, most of us journalists watching it. Oh, God. Well, guess what? They have no grounds to complain because Elon invited Kamala on as well. And as usual, she just hides behind her spokesman. Very courageous. Oh, wait, maybe they're just afraid that Elon's going to be too hostile? Wait a second. Stop and ask yourself, like, did Vance not go on like every Sunday show in the last couple of weeks? And would Trump do a 2-hour conversation with, I don't know, let's say Bill Gates, Mark Cuban, any other liberal billionaires or journalists? Of course he would. Yeah. He does interviews with liberals who dislike him all the time. So why can't Kamala Harris have a conversation with Musk? Well, the sad truth is that her advisors don't think that she would do very well in an unscripted format.
Because she's stupid.
And that she just isn't willing to contradict their advice and, be her own person. But her duck and cover campaign isn't safe. I think they think it's safe. But what it shows the voters is she's insecure, and they're on the defensive. Yet Donald Trump, the man Democrats claim is a dictator in waiting, another despicable lie, by the way, thinks that you deserve more from the candidates. That's what he believes. And even if you don't like everything he says, maybe you don't agree with everything he says, or maybe you don't love the way he always says it, gosh, at least there's something to discuss about his comments about energy or fracking or drill baby drill or taxes on Social Security income. He puts it all out there. You actually know where he stands.
We did more deregulation and more restrictions on all of the different businesses than any other president.
That's facts.
Remember, I had the rule for every one we put in, you have to get rid of 10 or 12. And we did radical cuts on all of that. And a lot of that's being put back by this administration. We're going to reduce taxes further. I gave the largest tax cuts, and we were going to reduce taxes still further for middle-income people, not only businesses.
Now, Kamala's advisors will not allow her to take part in a conversation like that from any journalist because they fear that if she's allowed to speak off the cuff about serious issues, I'm talking about interest rates, the economy, anti-dumping tariffs on China, she'll sound seriously foolish.
Yeah,
I just
she'll
love
know.
the idea of exploring the unknown. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is about those craters on the moon. The Earth is like a speck. Who doesn't love a yellow school bus? Venn diagram. Venn diagram? I really love Venn diagrams. You know, the circles, right?
Well, those are kind of fun. And how can she possibly explain her flip-flops on the border or single-payer health care? She can't. Yeah. And the truth is, Democrats replaced a candidate who is senile with a candidate who is actually incapable of having a coherent discussion of economics, micro or macro, or foreign policy, or trade, or pretty much anything that is substantive when it has to do with politics.
Right.
This is nothing to be proud of, and it's certainly nothing to dance and sing about. And if you're running for president with millions of Americans suffering under your policies, and you alternate between hiding from the press and offering happy talk through consultants, there's just something deeply wrong with you. And that's the angle.
I agree with everything Lauren Ingraham said in that segment. I mean, it was a perfect segment. It was right on the nose. Talked about why she's hiding and how unintelligent this woman really is. That's why she's hiding. Think about it. If her advisors thought that she could sit down and hold a conversation, they would advise her to do so. But they know she can't. That's why she's running, ducking, and hiding, dancing, and two-stepping. I mean, this is crazy, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.